Let's get started.
Welcome to the Financial Purpose Podcast. All opinions expressed by me or guests of the podcast are solely our own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Life Moves Wealth Management. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for any investment decisions. Clients of Life Moves Wealth Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. Hey there, welcome back to the Financial Purpose Podcast. This is episode 68. We are recording this the morning of right around the New Year's. This is actually New Year's Eve. Happy holidays. I hope that you've all enjoyed time with your family and whatever it is that you're doing for New Year's. Celebrate responsibly, please, and have fun, man. We're on the cusp of 2025, which is kind of crazy. Felt like 2024 went super fast. But yeah, here we are. So I am going to... In today's episode, I'm gonna bang a very, very familiar drum. And I'm gonna bang it like it's the song of my people, because it is. And I want to talk about, I'm gonna give 5 financial planning power moves that you can do as we go into the new year to get the new year off to a great start. And then I'm gonna give you 5 kind of non-traditional next level power moves that you can make once you get the first 5 done. So these are just kind of basic financial literacy things. But if I didn't have to say them over and over and all the things, I probably wouldn't have a career, because the point of financial planning is we do it all the time because things are always moving, life is always changing, and you still have to continue to do these things, because what's true about money is that it's not really the money that makes the difference. It's you. It's how you behave around money. Money doesn't change who you are; it just magnifies who you are. So we have to keep doing these things. We have to keep managing our behavior around money. And I'm going to talk about those 5 quick things, and then we'll do the next level move. So the first thing that you can do to get the new year off to a great start is, number 1, review and update your personal and business owners, your business financial goals. And even people who we would call intrapreneurs, you work for somebody and you're helping that business be successful. You too can have business goals. And so we want to make sure that those are aligned. The business and the financial goals need to be aligned because they support each other. They impact one another in a very significant way. So aligning personal financial goals like your retirement savings with business objectives like scaling or even preparing for growth, or even maybe a potential business transition. Consider whether your business is on track to support your personal wealth building goals. So the business success feeds your personal wealth building success. There's no other way around it, because if the business financials are a mess, if you're not hitting your sales targets or your operation objectives, if those things are not happening, you are not going to be able to pull money from the business or get bonuses or take additional owner draws or have profit sharing opportunities. Those things do not exist if the business isn't running well. And if that's happening, that's going to put some strain on your personal financials. So as a business owner, as a business leader, your personal finances are so well tied to what the business is doing. So having clear goals helps you know exactly what you're driving toward, because you'll know what you're trying to accomplish in the business. You'll know what you're trying to accomplish in your personal life, and you tie those things together. One feeds the other. And I know that this sounds super, super basic and like everybody knows, if you don't have a goal, then, whatever. But I'm telling you, it is rare for people to actually sit down, write down what it is that they want to accomplish, and then more importantly, the steps that they need to take to get to what they're trying to accomplish. And whether you're a business owner or a business leader, or you're just coming into the workforce, there's a lot of power in writing down your goals. A lot of the books that I've read in the past, Grant Cardone's Be Obsessed or Be Average, still one of my favorite books. No matter what you think of Grant Cardone or any of that stuff, that book changed the way that I looked at how I presented my goals to myself in what he talks about in that book. And even in 10X, his book 10X, which came out before Be Obsessed or Be Average, he wrote down his goals every single day, carried a legal pad of paper every day, same goals every day, wrote them down, wrote them down, wrote them down. And over the next couple of years, he was able to go back and see what he wrote down has already come to fruition. And so there is a lot of power in writing down the goals and looking at them often and reminding yourself what you're trying to accomplish, because it's so easy to get sidetracked. It's so easy to chase the next shiny object. So anyway, I went on a little tangent there. Update your goals, write them down, know what you're driving toward in business, know what you're driving toward in your personal life, and let the business fund the personal objectives. Again, within reason. You don't want to siphon so much money out of the business, because that's not all that different than your employee pulling money out of the cash register drawer. So you want to be careful that you're not doing that. But the business should be successful, and you should be driving to a level of success. It will help you on the personal side. Number 2, evaluate your cash flow and your budget for growth. So look at what happened in 2024. Where did money go? I actually have spent the past couple of days doing this, sort of getting my final P&L completed. And I'm looking at where has money gone? Where can I be more planful? What can I cut out? What can I make more efficient? And you want to do that in both your personal and the business life. And so look at expenses, look at cash flow, look at how much money came in, plan for how much money you expect to come in 2025, and tie those together. So find the inefficiencies, locate areas where you can push money to high growth, locate areas where you have pushed money that have not led to growth, or that have been kind of a bit of a, I don't want to say a waste of time or a waste of opportunity, but kind of, I want to say that, right? So look for places where money just should not go anymore. Make sure that your salary as a business owner aligns with your personal financial needs, and make sure the business can support it. And also on salary for a business owner, talk to your CPA, because depending on how you're incorporated, there is a sweet spot for your W-2 salary versus your owner draws. And that's from a taxation standpoint. So definitely get that sweet spot identified and put your salary number right in the middle of that thing. So when you're managing cash flow strategically for both the business and for your personal, it allows you to reinvest in the right places. You'll maintain financial stability. It'll help you understand when spending is too much or ill-timed or not necessary or wasteful. And there's a lot of places like that. There's a few places definitely on the personal side and one or two on the business side where money went in 2024 that I know I can change. I can make it better. I can make it more efficient, and I can push that money into other areas and have a lot more success and maybe a little bit more fun, and actually align more to what I'm trying to accomplish there. Okay, number 3, maximize retirement contributions through tax-advantaged plans. So review all the options that you have available. If you're a solo entrepreneur, a solo 401k might be better for you than a SEP IRA, because solo 401k would allow you to put more money into the business, and it would allow you to do a profit sharing contribution. If you have multiple employees, maybe a traditional or a safe harbor 401k plan is ideal for you, depending on the type of business. Maybe a cash balance plan is ideal for you, because it would allow you to push even more money in a non-discriminatory manner over to your column as the business owner. So those are all things that, from a financial planning standpoint, we can talk about. But whether it's a defined benefit plan, which is cash balance, or if it's a defined contribution plan, like a 401k or a SEP IRA, you're going to have multiple ways to do tax-advantaged retirement plans. And sometimes tax advantage means we're doing both post-tax and pre-tax contributions. And that, again, these are financial planning strategies, but ensure you're taking full advantage of those tools, both for yourself and for your employees. And the biggest thing for business owners and highly compensated executives is to make sure that your plan can pass discrimination testing, because there's nothing worse than putting money into the plan for yourself and then having to pull it back out because it's too top heavy. And there's a lot of rules around how 401ks and those kinds of plans work. So again, working with your financial planner, you can find the right plan for you, the right plan for your business, the right contribution limits for both yourself and for the company. And it allows you to put some money aside for yourself. It's the cardinal sin of a lot of business owners is not pushing enough money over to yourself, not setting enough money aside. I am guilty of this as well. This is one of the things that I've looked at for this year. I have not put enough money into my SEP IRA because I want to make sure that I'm not over balanced, because I don't want to withdraw. And really what I should do is convert my SEP IRA to a solo 401k like I've done for a couple of my clients this year. And so that's one of my action items for the beginning of 2025 is to make that conversion so I can push more money into my retirement plan. It's very important that we do this. It's very important that we recognize it. It's also very important as a financial planner that I eat my own cooking, right? So you want to do that because there's no stress like getting to kind of the end stage of your career and realizing that you could have put more away and you didn't, and now you have what you have and it just doesn't feel like it's enough, and it's very, very stressful. And it's the worst time in your life to be as stressed as you will be about money, because there's not a whole lot you can do, and you'll force yourself to work longer and to work more hours and to try to scrap together as much income as possible to be able to save money. It'll cause you to become more conservative with your investment choices, which means you won't get enough growth and opportunity. And so the time to start saving for yourself is now. If you're not saving for yourself, start in 2025. If you need help figuring out how best to do that, send an email to info@lifemoveswealth.com, get a message to me, put time on my calendar, whatever it is. Let's find a plan that works for you. It's going to benefit you. It's going to be a cash flow adjustment, because money going into a pre-tax or even a post-tax plan means less money that's going into your bank account. So you may have to make some changes there to accommodate it. But these are small sacrifices to make today for the better relief and situation financially later. Okay, number 4, plan for tax efficiency, both personal and business finances. There's so many of our adult financial decisions that have tax implications. Most of them do in one way or another, especially when it comes to our finances. So I think we're all at a point where if you're still going down to one of the supermarket, I don't want to name any names because I don't want to get sued or complained against or canceled or something like that. But if you're going to one of those little supermarket desks to get your taxes done, and even if you're a business owner and even if you're doing them yourself on TurboTax, you may be actually missing out on some actual tax planning. So I highly recommend, of course, self-serving, work with a financial planner, but also have a CPA and make sure that the CPA and the financial planner talk to each other and collaborate throughout the year, and especially around tax time and tax preparation, because there are things that you need to do from a tax planning standpoint that you need to be sure that your CPA and your financial planner aren't taking you in two separate directions. And that happens a lot. And so you want to have a team of people working for you, not multiple people giving you opposite advice or conflicting advice. So work with a CPA, work with a financial planner, strategize around things like deductions, credits, opportunities, Roth conversions, backdoor Roth conversions, deferring income, accelerating income, bunching charitable deductions, things like that. So review your business structure first to make sure that it's the most efficient way from a tax standpoint for you to be taxed. and then make sure that you're putting all of those things together. You know how much you need to withhold, you know what your quarterly payments need to be, you know what deductions you can take, where you can push income, where you can pull income, things like that. It's very, very important to be tax efficient because that's a great place for money to just evaporate accidentally. Now, on our side, we don't want to evade taxes because we go to jail, but we want to avoid overpaying taxes because it doesn't make sense to keep giving more and more and more money that you don't need to give to a bunch of people who are incredibly inefficient with the money that you give them. So let's make sure that more of that money stays on your side of the balance sheet and doesn't evaporate in the form of taxes. Because I don't know if you've ever seen, I saw a video that someone sent me this week, like an Instagram reel or whatever. And it was this kid playing Monopoly, and he is just bawling and bawling because he is out of money because of taxes. He doesn't get to play anymore because he doesn't have the money to pay the taxes. And if you look on Monopoly, the bank never runs out of money. I mean, the bank can just simply write paper money. And so there's no difference between the Monopoly money and what's happening in our government, but that's my personal opinion. So those guys are inefficient. Don't give them any more money than you have to. And I said that on camera. You can record it and send it to whoever you want. Okay, number 5. Reassess your emergency fund and your business reserves. Now, this is very, very important because not having enough set aside and not knowing how much really you should have set aside can really be a detriment when something unexpected happens. And I'm going to tell you, something unexpected always will happen at some point. It's not a matter of if it happens, it's only when. And so you want to have an emergency personal fund. The traditional rule of thumb is somewhere around maybe 6 to 12 months of either your expenses or maybe of your income. I personally think either way, 12 months, even 8 months for most people is inefficient. It's too much money to have setting aside in a bank account, and it takes too long to save that much money for a lot of people. So if you have a large cash balance, figure out how much would make sense. The way that I kind of have clients think about this is think through the last time that you had a big emergency, or even the last year where you had several things pop up. What was that dollar amount? Okay, let's work with that. Let's put aside money there. Let's make sure that that is in a higher yielding, interest bearing account. The cash is starting to pay a little bit less now because the Fed has cut rates a couple of times. And so there are still some good places to go get money, to put money that is paying a decent amount. So your bank savings account and checking account may not be paying as much as a high yield savings account, or for clients of Life Moves Wealth, we have cash accounts on our Altruist platform that is paying 4%. For cash on deposit, it's no fee, it's no minimum, it's highly liquid. The money's not locked up at all. It's actually same day liquidity or next day liquidity, depending on the timing of the transfer request, that kind of thing. So there are places where you can still have higher yield that doesn't put your money at risk. And you should definitely talk with your financial planner or me. Send an email, again, info@Life Moves Wealth, and I will help you figure out exactly where best to have your cash reserves, how much you should have in reserve. And there's some point where, and everybody has a different number, but there's some point where you have this much money in reserve, and any dollar above that needs to be put to work. But the reserve stays in reserve, and if you have to tap the reserve, that's what it's there for. I've said this a few times on other episodes. Your savings accounts or your cash reserves are simply future spending accounts. That's all they are. They're going to be used for an earmarked purpose. So when you need to use that money for that purpose, use it and then replenish it. Have a plan to replenish it in place when you need to use it. And that's what cash management really is all about. So it's great to have that as a financial buffer. It's great to not have to put a bunch of money on a credit card that you're not sure if you can pay back when you have cash reserve sitting on the side. And if you don't have the cash reserve sitting on the side, you really don't have a lot of levers to pull. And then you end up putting yourself into a higher debt position, which isn't always bad because sometimes it's temporary and you can allow yourself some time to get out of that position. But for some people, it can present a lot of financial risk, and that just needs to be managed better. And the best way to manage it is to have some reserves. Okay, so those are the 5 things. These are the common drums that I beat all the time. This is financial planning basics, and I'll go through them real quickly one more time. Number 1, review and update your personal and business financial goals. Know what you're driving toward, and then know what you need to do to drive that train and drive it all the way to the station. Number 2, evaluate your cash flow and your budget for growth. So look at inefficient places, look at where money's come in, look at where money needs to be spent. Make sure that's all working and flowing in the proper order. Make sure that you have surplus in your cash flow. And if you don't, we seriously need to talk, because that is problematic. That means that something's not right or rightly aligned in your cash flow. So let's get that figured out. Number 3, maximize retirement contributions through tax advantage plans. This is a strategic move, and it's one that everybody needs to make. And if you're not making them, start now. This is the perfect time to get started. The beginning of the year, we can do the paperwork. It's easy to set up. We want to make sure that you're saving for both yourself and helping your employees be financially successful as well. Number 4, plan for tax efficiency in both your personal and your business finances. Taxes, like as I said, are an easy way for money to escape your pocket and go over to somewhere else. We want to make sure that you're paying the right amount of taxes, and that we're also able to get to a place where you're receiving the appropriate deductions and credits and things like that that benefit your tax situation. By the way, saving to a retirement plan is a tax move. So those 2 things are tied together. Okay, number 5, reassess your emergency fund and your business reserves. Again, having cash set aside, having the right amount of cash set aside is smart. Having too much cash set aside is inefficient and can be some sort of opportunity cost to doing that. So let's make sure that you, A, have a plan in place for building your target emergency fund. Once you have that target amount reached, let's put the rest of the money to work. And it's going to save you from putting yourself at great financial risk when something does happen, and it will. So those are the 5 basic things. Now, I'm going to do real quickly 5 level up things. Once you've got the basics going, these are the next 5 things that you can continue to do. And some of this is going to sound a little bit familiar, and some of it might be a little bit redundant to the previous 5, but hang in there for a minute. So the first thing that you can do is invest in a personal CFO, Chief Financial Officer. A lot of times that looks somebody like me, a financial planner. Sometimes it's like a fractional CFO, or you have enough cash flow where you can hire a full-time CFO in your business. But as a business owner, the reason why somebody like a financial planner is best suited for this is because we can look over everything. As a business owner, your personal and business financials, Josh, I need more coffee. Okay. Business and personal finances are deeply connected. They're working in harmony. As you've heard me say before, it's financial spaghetti. It all touches. Most people who are in business or entrepreneurs or even business leaders benefit from having a personal CFO. This is a trusted advisor who helps optimize tax strategies, align personal wealth goals, align business activity to the personal, and navigate the financial complexity involved with all sides of that. So for a lot of people, we've all been through Financial Peace University. We've all listened to Dave Ramsey. We've all read Susie Orman's books. We've gotten financial advice from TikTok. We have talked to our neighbors and cousins and nephews and brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers, and we've just been shooted on with all of this financial advice, right? You should, shoulded on. Maybe you've outgrown that basic advice and you need somebody who's going to partner with you to guide your full financial picture, not just these little tiny silos of things that people know half of the rules to and get kind of confused or whatever. So if that's you and you're not currently working with somebody who's helping you tie all this together, please, let's talk. Send an email to info@lifemoverswealth.com. Let's talk. We can get this set up for you. We can get you going down the right path. We can figure out what needs to be aligned and organized and all of that. Don't inhibit your financial growth because you're not willing or if you don't feel like you're ready or you don't feel like you have enough money to work with a financial planner. Please, let's talk. Okay. Number 2, build a freedom fund. So we talked about having a cash reserve. We talked about saving for retirement. This is a freedom fund. So this is a strategic fund that is earmarked for very specific strategic investments that you should make or could make in your business or in your financial life. And it can be the exact difference between whether you or not you hesitate or are unsure about how to move forward or make a decisive action when there's an investment opportunity or just a great opportunity for you to take the next step or to invest in the next stage of your business or to buy another business or to get involved with something that's moving fast or like we've had the past couple of weeks when the stock market is moving a little bit lower and soft, it's a great time to go in and buy some investments. This is usually when the stock market pulls back or gets soft, people start to get really nervous and they feel like they need to pull investments out. And it's absolutely the backwards way to think about investing. I've talked about this before as well. When the market is soft, it's a great time to go in and buy. I'm not talking about buying the dip because that's all market timing. I'm talking about when we have a sustained move lower in the stock market and we just have multiple days where it's all red. Nothing's, really growing. There's no catalyst. The market's not excited about anything, just kind of lackluster. And so people are just kind of doing some profit taking and end of year selling and things like that. It's a great time to go in and pick up some of these assets because they're at a discount. And having a freedom fund in place allows you the capital to be able to say, yeah, I think I'm going to push some money into my investments. Or, yeah, I think I will buy my competitor. Or, yeah, I think I will start this side business because now I have the money to buy the inventory or buy the ad space or whatever it is that you need to do. Maybe for some of you, it's I'm ready to buy a house and now I have the money to go do that because people are starting to sell a little bit here and there. Maybe the housing market is opening up a little bit in whatever part of the country you live in. And so you're now able to go get the house that you've wanted because you have that freedom fund in place. So anyway, when opportunity knocks, having the money available to do that and still have your cash reserve is ideal. Number 3, outsource and reclaim time. So this is a hard lesson for a lot of us. The reason I'm sitting in this chair is because somebody on the other side of the room convinced me to outsource my podcast efforts. And it's made a huge difference, not only in time, but in efficiency and also in effectiveness. And since I've outsourced the podcast, it sounds better. It looks better. Subscriber growth has been great. I think I was doing it on my own for almost 2 years. And Josh and I have been working together for almost a year now. And it's just been exponential how good it is. So your time is a valuable asset, especially as a business owner. Don't spend it on things that you can give to other people. If you read the book Who Not How, it walks you through the thought process of who is it that can help you accomplish what it is that you're trying to do. But these are tasks or things that you can pass off to somebody who's, number one, better at it than you are, and number two, really likes to do those things, and number three, allows you to free up time in places where you could be spending doing other things that are more efficient for what you like, what you know how to do well, who you serve better, and what can be more profitable for you. And it's really great because the who works both ways. And so I actually did this earlier in the month of December. I needed a spreadsheet built, and I had a whole bunch of names and addresses and things like this, and I needed that into a spreadsheet for a marketing campaign. And so I sat down and I turned on my music and I'm shaking my head and I was like, man, I don't want to do this. This is going to take me hours. I don't want to do it. I need to be doing things for clients. I need to get these other reports done. I need to do these analyses. I need to be on the phone. I don't want to do this. And so I sent a text message to two of our kids and I said, all right, I have a project. I will pay X. I need a spreadsheet built. I'll give you the data. I'll give you the spreadsheet format. You just have to do the entry. Who wants it? And within 2 minutes, one of them was like, me, I want the extra money for Christmas. So I was able to get the spreadsheet done exactly the way I wanted it to. It was 2 phone calls to clarify information, and it was done. It was done ahead of schedule. It was done exactly right. And I didn't have to do it. And I paid for the time, and it was perfect. So I feel like that's a little bit of a first world, luxury to be able to pay somebody to do things like that. But it allowed me to go do other things for my business that wasn't tied to something that's not in my skill set, in my wheelhouse. I can build a spreadsheet. Anybody can build a spreadsheet, but it's not the best use of time. So that worked out really well. Time is the most valuable asset as a business owner. Don't spend it on tasks that you can outsource to somebody who's better. So somebody got to be, in this case, the kid got to be the who to me. I got to be a who to them. We were both trying to solve a problem, and it worked out just fine. He needed more money for a very specific Christmas present. I needed something done. We were able to help each other out, and it's great. So work smarter this year, not harder. Hard work isn't always your best work. And so look at places where you can outsource some of these things and get it into the hands of somebody who's better at it, faster at it, more equipped to do it, and would free you up to go do other things that are more beneficial, more accretive to your business success. Number 4, as a business owner, reevaluate your business's valuation. Most business owners, I'm going to go out on a limb. Maybe there's a ledge on a limb on a ledge, whatever. And say that most business owners have never had their business valuated. And it's very important to do this, even if you're not planning to sell or monetize it or transition it in whatever way. Having your business valuation completed gives you an idea or even a range of values of what your business is worth. Why that's important at any point is because your business's value goes on your personal balance sheet as a financial asset. For most business owners, their business is their retirement plan. And it accounts for somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 to 80% of their net worth in most cases that I've seen. Some less, but for most people, the business is a significant part of their total personal net worth. So knowing what that's worth then gives you the ability to say, okay, here's what I need to clean up in my business. Here's some places where I have opportunity to improve. Or here's how I can strategically keep growing this thing. Or here's a couple of options that I have available to plan a good transition over the next however many years that it takes based on your transition method. Not knowing what the business is worth and just guessing is going to set you up for disappointment when you're ready to make a transition and it's not worth what you thought it was, and you don't have the time or the capacity or the energy to make it more valuable, and you're going to have to settle for less than you want. Or the unfortunate side of the statistic, which we talked about in the last episode where I had Kimberly Bogus and Kendi Brown on, and we talked about the fact that less than 30% for most transition methods, and some are better than others, less than 30% of active businesses will be able to transition successfully on the owner's terms. That's one statistic that's not cool. The other one that's not cool is almost half of all transitions occur involuntarily, which means death, divorce, injury, things like that. And anytime that a business has to be transitioned involuntarily, the value is less. It just is. So you got to know what your business is worth. You got to know why it's worth what it is, how you can move the needle in your favor, and what type of options you have available. And this requires not only somebody who can do the business valuation, but also somebody who can help you take that number, strategically think through what's next step for you, and start planning. The reason that I do both financial planning and exit planning is because they should be doing that work. We should be doing that work all the time. It never ends. And even through the transition, we're still doing exit planning. And even after the transition, we're still doing exit planning. We're now executing on the strategy that we set up for your exit. We got to keep doing these things, but we have to start with understanding what we're working with so we know what to do next. And by the way, this is a great place to say, as a business owner, you should go to the Business Transition Summit in February right here in Scottsdale. We talked about it last week on the episode with Kendi and Kimberly. BusinessTransitionsSummit.com, BusinessTransitionsSummit.com. Use the code LifeMoves to get a $100 discount. It's going to bring your ticket price down to $299. It's a steal based on the information that you're going to get, the actionable work that you're going to be able to do at the summit, the people you're going to be able to talk to, the help that you're going to be able to get, the direction. It's worth a day. It's a Tuesday. Take the Tuesday out of work. Shut off your email inbox. Put $299 into your business and come to the Business Transition Summit. It's worth it. I guarantee it. And I only guarantee it because I've been to one myself. I paid more than $299 to go, and I got a lot out of it. And so I highly recommend come to the one in Arizona, February 25th, 2025, $299 when you use code LifeMoves at checkout, BusinessTransitionsSummit.com. I will be there. I will be on stage. I will be presenting. I will be leading a panel as a moderator. And I'm looking forward to educating business owners. It's an education event. It is not a sales event. Nobody's going to sell you their 9-step program to success or any other bullshit like that. It's pure education done the right way for business owners by business owners. BusinessTransitionsSummit.com. Checkout code LifeMoves. Okay. Number 5. Leverage strategic philanthropy. Now, this is a piece that we don't often talk about enough. And a lot of us are charitable. A lot of us donate money or sponsor charitable things like golf outings or baseball teams or soccer teams or galas for the boys and girls clubs in our community or things like that. Or we give to cancer causes or whatever. Having a strategy in place for how you do the giving is a major win for you personally and for the business, because it's not just simply, oh, I'll write a $200 check here, I'll write a $500 check here, I'll write a $5,000 check there. Sometimes there's a more strategic way to do that giving in a way where it's more tax efficient, it's more beneficial for the agencies receiving that information, and you can designate how that's done. There are ways to do that. For example, setting up a donor advised fund that will allow you to sponsor causes that are aligned with your values in an incredibly tax efficient vehicle. It allows you to also have that money invested so it can grow, so you can give more and give more freely because the money is already designated to serve a purpose. It has a growth potential. It allows you to give more. And it's often better than, like I said, just writing a simple little check here or a little check there. So aligning what's important to you in your community and finding those organizations that are doing that, and then setting up a strategic plan to benefit those things is going to make you feel great about yourself, about your community, about your participation. And please, if you're listening to this podcast, do not just be a consumer of your community. Please go out and be somebody who helps move things in the community that make the community better. Be a contributor, not a consumer. Please figure out a way to do this. If you have a lot of money to give and you find that you look at your finances and you're giving a significant amount of money, whatever that amount is, let's look at a way to do that in a more tax efficient place, whether you're giving to your church or any of those organizations that are in your community or some of the ones that I mentioned. There's a way to do it. Let's be strategic about it so that way you can give, again, freely and possibly give more. So real quick, those 5 things, these are next level things. The first one is to invest in a personal CFO. Translation, hire a financial planner who is aligned with you and will help you align your activities and your finances to exactly what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Number 2, build a freedom fund. And again, the freedom fund is a little different than your cash reserve because the freedom fund is your opportunity money. Number 3, outsource and reclaim time. Find a who, not a how. Don't ask yourself, how am I going to be able to grow? How am I going to be able to get this done? Ask yourself, who can help me grow? Who can help me get this done? And turn those things over and let them do what they do best so you can do what you do best. Number 4, reevaluate your business valuation, or if you've never had one, get one done. Or if you don't want to go through the full valuation steps, which I do recommend, but as a part of my financial planning process for business owners, I will take your financials. We will do a range of values exercise. We will look at strategic areas where you can move your needle. A business valuator is going to go in a little bit deeper, and they're going to identify areas of opportunity just like we will. It's a different level, but get your business value known so you know what it is that you're trying to do, how to do it, when to do it, who needs to help you, how to move forward. So that way, when you get to the end of the game, you've got some money in your pocket and you're not looking back at the board and realizing how much you left on the table. And then finally, number 5, leverage strategic philanthropy. There's a way to give strategically, and this is a level up move. When you reach a place where you have the ability to give, it's a great place to be. Even if you are giving a little, give. If you're giving a lot, let's be very strategic about it. And let's make sure that your giving opportunities are in the right places, managed the right way, and align with what you value and what's important to you about your community. But most importantly, as I said, be a contributor and not just a consumer. So that's what I have for you today. Those are strategic moves that you can use to start 2025 off on a great path. If you want to talk about any of them, send an email to info@lifemoveswealth.com or go to lifemoveswealth.com. You'll see a little button on the side that says schedule time with me. Click that button. It'll put you onto my calendar. Pick the best time that works for you. Let's have a conversation. Please don't go through 2025 without getting good advice on how to go through 2025. So that way, this time next year, you're sitting in a better position stronger financial position than you were today. And that's what financial planning, strategic planning, exit planning, that's what it's all about. And one more plug, businesstransitionsummit.com. Go there, use code LifeMoves. If you're a business owner, save your seat, get in the room. We only have 100 seats available. They're going to go fast. I want you there. It's going to be excellent. Do it. businesstransitionsummit.com. I had Tom Bronson here, who runs the Business Transition Summit, and I couldn't even say Business Transition Summit. If you go back and listen to that episode, it's sad. businesstransitionsummit.com. Look forward to seeing you there. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to your family. Celebrate responsibly, but let's have a great 2025. It starts today, and we can do it together. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. info@lifemoveswealth.com or lifemoveswealth.com. Hit that schedule button, and we will talk to you then. But until next time, we'll see you on the next episode. Go be financially awesome. Take care of yourself. See ya. Thanks for listening to this episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. To learn more about your financial purpose, visit lifemoveswealth.com.